like Dear Esther, the walking sim that started it all. It is truly just walking. It is the simplest of walking sim. It definitely predates like a lot of the innovations in that space. But it actually holds up pretty well in that there's a very interesting voiceover the whole time, and the graphics and the setting, the scenery is still very enchanting, even though, graphics have moved on considerably since Dear Esther was first released. So I would mostly play it if you were going to as a thing of historical note and interest rather than, you know, dying to play this. But if you kind of want to know the game's history of the genre, then yeah, I think it's still worth checking out. Necroworm was a weird puzzle game that I think it must have gotten into my account from like a Humble Bundle. I think I know which Humble Bundle. It's a problem whenever you have a puzzle game. The idea is you have things you need to get your worm through, and your worm, you take it out across this grid, and it can't overlap itself, right? So you have to get everything, and it can't overlap itself. And yet, on some of the levels, there are bugs where like a square that you need to go through just isn't rendering. You can just go through it, even though there's it thing, or there are things that are blocking off, the path you need. But it's a glitch. There's nothing there. You can still go through it without collision. Not really worth anyone's time, I don't think. Carrion. That was a good game. So I think it was oversold on the Metroidvania to me because I don't feel like I did that much double backing. I feel like even though, how do I put this? Even though you were going to the same, map regions several times, it felt like the path through it all was very linear. For those who don't know, Carrion is like the thing, but you're playing as the monster and you're breaking out and you're, you know, breaking out of this secure science facility. Um, it was good. It was relatively short. I think it was 4 or 5 hours. And that's about all the longer it should have been. It ended right, I think, spot on where it should have ended, which is always a good thing indeed. Definitely recommend though. That is some very loving pixel art graphics. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Check it out. It's good stuff. Almost done here. I played Industria. Industria was interesting. It was a small team narrative based shooter that their world crafting was fantastic, but their narrative pacing and the way they revealed things was a little off, left something to be desired. And the shooting was meh. I mean, it was functional, but it wasn't particularly fun. I mean, if it somehow ends up, if you end up seeing it cheap, something like that, it'd be worth it. It's worth the time it takes to play it. It has some interesting ideas. The setting, like I said, is actually rather cool, as are some of the mysteries it plays with. I just wish that there was a bit more in terms of pacing, a little better exploration of it. I played the HD remake of Panzer Dragoon, which is basically just an on-rail shooter. I played it for historical interest reasons, PS1 era legend, and I wanted to see what it was about. And it wasn't a waste of my time, but it can stay on the PS1 era. We don't need it in the modern era. Say No More. That is the German indie game about an intern at a corporate office getting, picked on basically, and learning to say no, and, having the ability to stand up for herself. It's a very silly game. It's very simple, and it's the level of interactivity. I mean, it's almost a walking sim. I mean, other than you're just tapping space to say no at various times, and you can say no various ways, but that's the limit of your interaction with the game. It's just saying no.
Strap in, it's going to be a wild ride. Say no more. Out no. I mean, now. Out now.
Raji, an ancient epic. This is a action RPG, or an action game actually. It's a pure action game, set in Hindu myth, and this is really quite good. The controls were maybe not quite as tight as you'd want with this kind of action. The level of demand they're putting on the action, functional, but I was struggling on the normal or easy or whatever difficulty with some of these encounters until I really understood the cadence of things more than I think I would if the controls were just a little tighter, just a little bit. I really enjoyed the setting and the voice acting and the level design. That was all good. Like I said, just the encounters weren't, I think, as balanced as they could have been. And then the final boss was a real SOB. But it was fun, and I recommend it. Frog Detective 2 is a cutesy, twee, quasi-mystery adventure game. I don't know how I ended up with both Frog Detectives. I'd played the one, hadn't played the other yet. And that's all there really is to say about it. I mean, it has amusing writing. It's not so twee that it makes me stop playing. And yeah, I mean, it was amusing. It was amusing. I almost forgot 2 games that I played. One was The Fall. Let me make sure that was the name of it again. It was indeed The Fall. So this was a very interesting little sci-fi 2D narrative game. Some nice little puzzling. So I would put it in the Limbo or Inside style of 2D side-scrolling puzzle narrative game. Unlike Inside or Limbo, this did have spoken dialogue, but it was a nifty little game, and I think that it was very well written. I don't want to talk too much about the narrative because the narrative is what made it. The setting was very cool, and the pacing of the story was very nifty. So if you happen to come across The Fall, it's not a long game, but it's definitely, I think, worth your time. If you like sci-fi, slight mystery stuff, then I think it's worth your time. And AI questions and stuff like that.
I am bound to protect my pilot from anything.
The other thing I forgot to talk about, which I can't believe I forgot to talk about, is something I've been playing over the course of the entire year. Hitman. So obviously I love the Hitman games. I wouldn't be trying to play through all of the levels. And now with the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy videos, I'm trying to show you all of the challenges. I wouldn't do that unless I truly loved Hitman. And I do love Hitman. It is just it nails social stealth in a way that I don't know any other games have. Of course, it took them many games to get there, but now that we're there, man, it's the sweetness. It's the sweetness. And then on top of that, the way that the levels are designed to be wildly interactive, and it's just a masterpiece. I think the World of Assassination trilogy is going to go down as one of the high points of both stealth games and potentially, depending on how you want to define your genre, the immersive sim. I have to go back to the drawing board on my video about what is video game genres and, expanding them all out. I have to go back to the drawing board for some reasons. I plan to do that this year, though. So, look forward to that, where I hopefully describe what an immersive sim is in a useful way. But Hitman, one of my true gaming loves, played a lot of it this year. Can't recommend enough. And then finally, I've been playing Horizon Chase Zero, the third racing game of the year. Maybe I have to rethink this notion that I don't like racing games. It's a low poly, high speed, racing game. I don't think any of the races have taken me longer than 3 minutes, or much longer than 3 minutes thus far. The long ones are about 3 minutes long, and I've enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep playing it. Hopefully, I'm gonna finish it before the new year, because I got a list of games I'm looking to play in the new year. So that's what I played this year. Some quick thoughts about them. What I recommend, what I don't recommend. I hope that somebody found this interesting, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.